This park could be any in Britain, but it's different. This is where a suicide bomber played cricket with his friends just 24 hours before detonating his explosives on a packed London tube train. Children still play cricket here, but now they play under the gaze of police officers. This is Beeston, a working-class suburb of Leeds. It's an ethnically mixed neighbourhood with a large Muslim community. Shahzad Tanweer and his friend Mohammed Sadiq Khan grew up on these streets. They were two of the four men who carried out Britain's first suicide bombings. The graffiti on the walls used to be innocent. Now it's much more sinister. To describe Beeston as a community which is being ripped apart by racial conflict is misleading and too simplistic. But it's also wrong to say there's no racial tension here. Last night I was told in no uncertain terms to leave a pub, not because I'm a journalist, but because I'm Asian. So there's anger and resentment here. And some people are afraid of what will happen to Beeston when the police leave. This is a divided community bracing itself for a backlash. Whispers and rumours travel quickly along the narrow alleyways. Curtains twitch nervously. Muslims, too scared of being identified, are terrified of what will happen to them and their families.
We are very, very nervous, scared.
People are blaming everyone. They're tarring everyone with the same brush.
I know going outside, I'm not going to town, and I'm very, very scared for my children as well.
These concerns are shared by the wider community. Relations between white residents and their Asian neighbours reached breaking point last year following the murder of Tyrone Clark by a gang of Asian youths. His mother Lorraine fears the worst for Beeston.
Yeah. When the police leave, a lot of people are going to be frightened because there's talk on the streets there's going to be repercussions for what these bombers have done. And it is frightening for the elderly, the children, the kids, because a lot of people are going to get caught up in something that was nothing to do with them.
Against this backdrop of fear, work to calm the community continues.
How is it?
Lunch is being prepared for a meeting being held between senior police officers and community leaders. You can see the concern etched on these faces.
Bigots don't need an excuse to be bigoted, but when they've got an excuse, boy, can they be bigoted, can't they?
The police outline their plans, describing what measures they're taking to protect Beeston. Extra officers have been deployed on the streets for reassurance patrols. And the residents need reassuring. Some have been issued with panic alarms. West Yorkshire Police won't say exactly how many of their men are on the streets, but they have hundreds of officers should they need them. There is a deep distrust of the media here. There's a feeling that Beeston is being wrongly portrayed as a community where an army of suicide bombers is plotting behind the walls of the neat terraced houses, or that the children who once played here have grown into terrorists hiding in the shadows. The rare interviews that our cameras are allowed to record are given in groups because there's safety in numbers. These young Muslims fear their community will be attacked when the police leave.
We've been in the community for 25 years. We've never been approached by any extremists or any Islamic culture that come in on basically from different levels to join this kind of group.
For individuals who happen to be Muslim British Asians, they cannot portray the rest of the community.
They say, where you from? They say Beeston, and they just look at your Beeston, and first thing comes to their mind is about the bombings, but not everyone's like that, you see.
At this moment in time, there's a police presence in this area. What I'd like to know is this police present, what's going to happen in the future, 6 months later, a year down the line, what's going to happen with the policing then? Are they still going to be there to protect us from these thugs?
I mean, it's all right police being here, there's high levels of police presence everywhere, but But once the media's gone, once everything's calmed down, I believe that will be the real problem, because everybody will be aware that there's no police presence. That's when I think we will be targeted by the wider communities.
If we can't feel safe walking on our streets, where's the point? Where's the point at all?
Academics talk of marginalisation, poverty and a disenfranchised youth as possible reasons why some young Muslims develop a hatred of the West. We didn't see these factors at work in Beeston. It is true, however, that 2 men who committed mass murder grew up here. If the fear that's being felt is allowed to fester into deep loathing, then that could provide the poison for the next generation of British suicide bombers. Not just in Beeston, but in other communities too. Ashish, Joshi, Sky News, Beeston.